you're doing well in this beautiful and nice weather. Right, so tonight I'm going to start straight down on the mat because Lucy's promised next week, and then she wants me to make her a couple of dangly earrings. Her dress is sort of a tealy color. So I was thinking maybe we do like a little bit of a beaded bead with some bicones, and maybe do a couple of versions so she can decide. I got this weekend to make this up for her, so we have to be quick. So I'm just kind of like thinking a little 4 bead, like little cube at the bottom, and I'm gonna add some gold chain to it, and that will be quite it. And maybe we can do a pendant, which is maybe 6 or 8 bead long, just sort of like a long tube, and then she can wear that on a jewelry as well. I have asked her, like, do you want a cabochon? Do you want this? Do you want that? And she's like, no, I just want something simple, but I want something nice. So we're gonna have a little play with this tonight, and then see how we get on. I'm really excited for her, and I think she's really excited herself as well. Maybe not the color. Yeah, that's better. She's really excited as well for her prom, and then that's all they've been talking about with her friends for the last 2 weeks, and her hair and her makeup and everything else. So I said I will sort that jewelry for her. Right, okay, so I'm just going to thread my needle, and we're going to try to make like a little beaded bead. Now these are 4mm bicones, so it's going to be quite, well, we can always add 2, or we can make it bigger. We'll see. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can really see what I am doing. So, good evening, Rachel. Nice to see you here. Sorry I wasn't live last week, but I don't know what happened. I kept trying to connect, then it wouldn't connect. And I restarted the computer because I'm usually like turning things on and off again. It really works, but even that didn't work. So, and then I just had to kind of give up. Right, okay, so I'm going to pick up 4 bicones. This is kind of like cubic rectangle. I'm not sure if you want to put, little seed beads in between. We will see. I'm going to do it without seed beads first, but I grabbed some size 15 seed beads there, so we might add some seed beads in between. So I'm going to sew all 4 of them together. I'm going to go through all 4 one more time. There we go. And then I'm going to come through the first one more time so I can pull it nice and tight. So we're going to add another 4 on top of each, another 3, so they're going to be another cluster of 4 on each one on top of these. I think we might be better to add a seed beads, but let's do one without seed beads. And this is actually how you would start cubic rectangle weave. So I'm just going to I'm coming out at the bottom. I'm going to come from the other side, adding 3 bicones on the top of that, and then I'm going to go along 1. Now I only need 2, so I'm going to pick up 2 bicones. I'm going to come on the side of the loop I just created, and the one I am coming out of. And I'm going to turn this. Don't worry, I will repeat this because you're going to need at least 2. Again, coming through. Again, picking up 2. The side of the previous one and the one I'm coming out of. And for the last one, we only need to add 1. So I'm just going to try to hold that. So I'm going to go along the bottom, and I'm going to come up one side, and I'm just going to pick up 1, go down on the one we done previously, and back along the bottom again. We just got a little knot here. Let me know what you've been beading, what you've been doing this week, last week. We already got like this week, next week, and a week after, and I'm off to Hungary. So I'm going to go 2 more sessions, and I'm going to be taking some time off, spending time with Mum. I don't loop around. So I think if you had something like this on the end of a gold chain, but I'm not sure if you need little seed beads in between, so I'm going to pull this tight. So we went around, and then we need to come to this side, which is the top side, and go around those four as well, sealing those on them together. I don't know if you did it with 5 bicones, we would have more of a round shape. Good evening, Debbie. Nice to see you here. So maybe we need 5. So this is the 4. So this is just sort of creating a little cube. Let me just pull it through, and then I'm going to pop it down so you can have a look. And then we're gonna, I think that could be quite sweet and quite simple on the end of a gold chain, and just on a sort of plainish air wire. If I just want this as like a little unit, I would go around it a few more times just to sort of tighten up the bicones so they're not so squidgy. So I want them nice and sturdy. I suppose we could add a little, it doesn't have to be a chain, we could add like a long, just a thin line of seed beads going to the top. But I just want to give her some options that what she could do, what she could wear. If I add a seed bead in between, now if I add a size 15, I won't be able to go through the bicone so much because they obviously got smaller holes. So perhaps a size 11 seed bead will be more fitting. Let me just come through here. So we'll try one with seed beads in between. So we have 3 seed beads, and then we see what the size is going to make then. Right, I'm just going to leave this here. So that's our little cube without seed beads. I'm going to take my needle off. I'm going to get a new piece of thread, and we're going to do one with seed beads in between. Good evening, Mrs. Higgins from Norfolk, England. Nice to see you here. I'm North Essex, so probably not too far away from you. What is the color of the bicones? I have to look it up for you, Rachel, because it's not the teal, it's not the aqua, it's the in-between color, but I'm not really sure what is it called on the website. I will have a look for you. When I put my needles, it was just in my hand, the little needle case. Right next to, right in front of me. Is this something for Lucy? Yes, so Lucy's prom is next week. So I got the I got the pleasure to make jewelry for her. And like I'm kind of like smirking saying that because it's so hard to like, you know, I need to give her options, I guess. She doesn't want anything too beady, but she doesn't want something plain, but not too plain. It has to be sort of a bluish emeraldish color, but not too blue and not too emerald. So that's what that's what I got given so far. She wants it on a gold chain. So right, okay, let's try it. I'm gonna try it with size 11s in between, and then maybe we try it with size 15s as well. Hold on, let's get the other blue because this one is a bit too, although it might be nice with the tealy color. Try it with the teal. So this time I am gonna have 1 seed bead in between the bicones, and actually we could do more of this tealy color as well, so she could have a color variations as well. And then we could, instead of bicones, we could go and try rounds, or we could go and try all sorts of different things. So I'm going to make the same cube. I'm going to change color to a bit more tealy color, so then she can see. This tealy color actually I think will go nicer with gold than the more of a lagoon color. So I'm doing the same thing as I did before, picking up 4 bicones, but I'm picking up a seed bead in between. So I started with a bicone, so I'm going to finish with a seed bead, and I'm going to sew this in a circle. So now we're having a seed bead in between. These are size 11s. We could go down to size 15s and see how they look. The only thing I'm worried about size 15s is that we won't be able to go through them so much. But there's another cheat we can do, that we can make it without the seed beads. And once we made it, as we go around, we add the 15s in. So that could be another way of adding the 15s on. Right, so I want to come out of the crystal. So I'm going to pick up, I need to pick up 3 crystals, and I need a seed bead on either side. So I'm going to start with seed, crystal, seed, crystal, seed, crystal, and seed. I'm going to come through the other side of this crystal. So I'm just creating a figure of 8. Then I'm going to go along the next seed and crystal, and I'm going to pick up, we're going to have to add a seed in there. So I'm going to pick up a seed, crystal, seed, crystal, seed. I'm going to come down on this crystal, and then before I go into the next one, I'm going to pick up 1 seed and then go into the crystal. So our corner will look like the 3 crystals are meeting, but each one of them has got a seed bead attached to it. So then I'm going to go along my base one again, pick up a seed, crystal, seed, crystal, seed, come down this crystal from the previous loop, pick up a seed, and then go into the next crystal. So she wants long dangly earrings, but she wants something at the end. So instead of just having like a single bead, which might still end up doing, you never know. So I'm going to go into the next seed and crystal, and because this is the last side, I need to go up to the crystal. So I picked up a seed, and I'm just going to pick up a seed, crystal, seed. I'm going to come down the crystal on the last, pick up 1 seed, and go into this crystal at the bottom. There we go. Good evening, Amelia, Debbie, good evening. Rachel, Jeremy. She said, made it in time this time. Right, okay, so what happened here? I think it's looped around. What way do you need to loop? That way. Pull this up nice and tight. So what I need to do, I need to come up to the top. So I know which is the bottom because my tail end is right at the bottom. So I need to come up to the top of my cube. Oh, what would be nice with this, I think, let me just pop this down. I think what would be nice with this, if we added, I'm just gonna grab, oh, they all coming. I think a 6mm bead in the middle, just like that. That would look really good as well. And then we could add the chain to the glass pearl rather than, oops, and then I've got the pearls are running all over everywhere on my desk here. Let me just move them out of the way. So if I push the pearl in now, just like that, I got to the top, and I'm going to sew the top together. I don't need this pink one. So I need to add a seed bead in between. There we go. And I'm securing that bead in there, but then that fills our cube up as well. And another one. So I'm just adding in the missing seed beads on the top. And another one. What do you think of this? Let me just pull it tight. Just gonna pop it down. I think it's okay, but I think it's too much. I think the seed beads, like, and the crystals, just too much. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm just gonna go around a little bit to strengthen it. It doesn't really matter which thread path I'm following. Tracy's saying, hi, I'm late, what are you making? So I'm trying to make like a little beaded bead. This is for Lucy's prom. She's got an amazing dress, and I don't even know how we ended up with that dress because I was quite prepared. when Victoria had her prom, my eldest, like we went around to shops after shops after shops, and she couldn't really find what she wanted. So I was quite prepared that we're gonna have to be going to shops after shops after shops with Lucy. And we went to the first shop. She tried on, I don't know, about 20 dresses, and then she said, "Mom, this is the one." She chosen it, and that's it. So we got the dress. And now next week is the prom, so we need to make her some jewelry. She does want something simple-ish, but not too simple. Something emerald greenish, but not too emerald green. So that's my instruction. So I thought if I make her like a little beaded bead, and then we can add this onto just like a gold chain, or maybe a gold seed beads going to an I think I'm gonna put it on a stud. I think that would be really nice for her because she just wants some long earrings. She's gonna have her hair up. So this is our first version of little cube, just without the seed beads. This one is the second one. I think the seed beads make it a bit too much, to be honest. So I do think stick with this. Stick with just the bicones, but perhaps add something else after because it's the size of it as well. It makes it bigger, and this one keeps it smaller. But I will put both of them on the side for her, and then she can decide what or which version does she want. So that's what we gonna be designing tonight. I mean, no pressure, it's next week. I knew it was coming, but it's like one of those things I will get it done for her this weekend. And then we can make the same as a little pendant for her. Maybe we could do like maybe a bigger bicones, one size up for a pendant, but do exactly the same, and do the same for her for the earring. That would be cute as well. Right, then I think I want to try, because she did want it to have a pendant. So we could do, I got a couple of different colors of, could maybe put 3 colors in it. So we could start off with that color at the top, have that one in the middle, and maybe this one at the bottom. That would look quite cute as well, but just keep it kind of plain. Maybe we could put one seed bead in afterwards to keep it sort of nice and little. But I'll ask her what she will prefer. So I'm gonna pick the crystals up just without the seed beads, and we will add a seed bead in at the end to cover our thread path. So I'm gonna start with 4 of that beautiful, is it called turquoise? I'm gonna have to look it up, because it's really a really nice color. So I'm gonna go through all 4 of them again, but the next color we're gonna build on top of it is gonna be the teal color. Let's go through so I can pull it nice and tight. Let's do one more so I'm completely away from my tail. So the next one we're gonna build on it is gonna be the teal. So I'm gonna pick up 3 of these, come from the other side, then I'm gonna go along one at the bottom. I'm gonna pick up 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna go on the side of the previous one, and that the one I'm just coming out of. That is saying next week is loads of time. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you do it too close to the event, then you got more time to change your mind. If you just like do it a few days before, then you still got plenty of time if something goes wrong. But if not, then you kind of like sort it. So along the bottom, up the side of the first loop, then I'm just gonna pick up 1 and go down on the side of the last loop, just to filling that in at the top. I'm gonna go along, and then I want to get to this side and sew those 4 beads together as well. And then I'm gonna add that solid color on there. And then we'll see, maybe we need to make it longer. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then back that one. So I'm going to start another row. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to pick up these colors instead. 1, 2, 3, coming through from the other side, along, hang on, that's the top, along the, picking up 2, then the side into the one I was just coming out of, again along on my, because the top of the previous row become the base row for these guys. Then coming along into the first loop, picking up 1, down in this, and then along there again. And then I need to take my thread up and sew these 4 together. So I think the sections has to be bigger. I'm going to add another unit of this color on the top, but I think it's still not quite long enough. So it needs to be double the size of this. So if you do almost the first unit in the first color, or the first 2 in the first color, then we could 3 for the yeah, so we want maybe something about this long. Where is my ruler? So this one is just over centimeter and a half, so just under ½ inch, and we want it sort of back 3.5 centimeters. I think would be a nice size for a pendant. So we need more of each color. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 units, maybe 5. If you have 5, if you have 1 unit, 1 color, or 2 units, the second color, that's 3 units, plus another 3 units is 6 units. So almost 1 unit. I'm sort of like going with my brainwave here. So if you do almost 1 unit for the first color, then we do 2 whole units the second color, or like almost 2 whole units, because the bottom color can be this one, and then 2 units that. Right, okay, I think I know. I'm going to add 1 more unit on this just to see how will it look like lengthwise. Just it doesn't take 2 seconds, just to run around it quickly with a few more crystals. It's so hard because we all have our own taste, and I'm really like not nervous, but to make jewelry for somebody 16 is so sort of far from my taste. So it can be really hard sometimes to, and often she says she likes it, and I'm thinking, does she really like it, or does she just saying she likes it because she perhaps doesn't want to hurt my feelings, or you know what children like. So I have made like bracelets and bits and pieces for her before. Right, up there into the crystal. So yeah, I think it needs to be longer than that. So I'm going to start again with more of the color. I don't even know if we need this color at the top, or if we should just use these 2 color. Maybe if we say 5 units, so that's 1 unit, that's 2 unit, 3, 4, 5. Maybe if we had a longer color of the teal, just the teal on its own, and then just add this at the bottom, because it's it will show up quite well on there. So let's do that. So starting again. Thread, where's my thread? Right in front of me. And then I think that will make a nice pendant for her. and I have to sort of double check it with her and see what she says. So starting again, I'm just gonna start with the tail. I'm not gonna put the aqua color in there. Maybe it's called turquoise. I really have to look it up. So taking 4 down, coming through all 4 of them. Then the first 2, so I can pull it nice and tight. There we go. So I'm gonna go with the emerald, or the teal color for a bit here. So that's my first loop, coming through at the bottom, then picking up 2, the side of the one before and the one I'm just coming out of, along the bottom. I think there is a way we could make it sort of a tiny bit fatter in a way, so it's not so thin. And I'm going to go along the bottom of the side of the first one and just picking up 1, coming down. Debbie's saying, my children always say that's nice, but not for me. My niece and nephew raid my box. I think it's one of those things as well. Like if like I don't, when you're around something all the time, like Lucy's around the beads all the time, like it's not really interesting, and it's like interesting, but it's not really interesting enough because she's got access to it all the time. But often when she was smaller and her friends used to come around, that's when she played with the beads because her friends wanted to play with it. It's quite interesting and quite interesting to see when she was growing up, and then her friends thought like, wow, this is so good. So I'm adding still the same color. So I'm doing sort of a cubic right angle, but we could have a little bit sort of another, and we could set it on the off center as well, so we could have a slightly thicker and different shape as well. There's so many different ways you can play with this, and you can do it. So you can have like little crossovers in the middle, which they look really good as well. And up the first side, and just sewing these together, adding the last crystal in, coming to the end. I think 1 more unit of this color at least, and then maybe just add a little bit of the other one on the bottom. So 1 more round of these colors. 1, 2, 3. Going to the same bead I'm coming out of, then a long 1 bead, picking up 2, coming down on the side and into the one I'm coming out of, and 1 more time along that base, picking up another 2, going down and into that crystal, then along and up the side of the first one, then going down on the crystal and getting to the end. And I'm going to see these 4 together before I add the next one. So let's have a look. Let me just sort this out and then I'm going to pop it down. So I think maybe 1 more starting with this color, but I think what we should do is to do like start the next color within the next loop. So I'm gonna pick up one teal, one this opaque color, one teal, then I'm gonna come through that bead again. So my anchor bead for the next row is gonna be dark colors, and then along one teal, one opaque color into the side loop before and along. Good evening, Julie, nice to see you here. So one teal, one opaque color. So if you're just joining us, we are trying to design some jewelry for her Lucy's prom. Maybe if it didn't go, no, we will fill it up with seed bead. And then up, and I just need a opaque color. So Lucy's prom is next week, and I've been tasked to make her some jewelry. And I'm like so anxious because I don't really know what she likes, because her instructions are very vague. It was teal, but not too teal, or emerald green, but not too emerald green. So I said to her, is it teal? It's like, no, it's not really teal. So I said, is it like more like an aqua? No, it's not really aqua. So we went to quite a few colors, and she didn't really know what color she wanted. So, but I said to her, I can only do colors where I got the beads for. And she was like, oh, I want something simple, but not too simple. So I want something sort of like, maybe just like something on the end of a chain. That's what were her words. But I do think it depends as well, obviously, what her friends are going to be having and what her friends are going to be wearing. But we see. So I just want to give her a couple of options. So tonight I thought I'd play with some bicones and then see if she likes it, if she likes the idea of the bicones. Maybe if she wants something just on a gold chain, like I could make this in gold for her and just add maybe a dash of color at the end. Maybe that would look good as well. So is one enough, or shall we add one more? I think maybe one more of that color at the end. But then that looks good as well. Maybe I'll leave this length. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew these four together, and then I'm going to add seed beads in to cover my thread paths there. So which going to be like, I'm all the way around. I'm just going to pick up a seed bead, and I'm going to go into the next crystal. Another seed bead, next crystal, and I'm just going to fill it in. So we only have a single seed bead instead of the one which we made the little cube where we had 3. I think that was a bit too much. And then I'm going to step into the next row and add them in here. So I'm working my way back up to the top, adding these seed beads in. I mean, we could have added these seed beads in as we were going around, but sometimes it's better to do it this way because it's gonna make your pendant a bit more stiff, like a bit more sturdy. So I'm just gonna adding in between every crystal as I go up. We'll see. I hope she will like it, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know what she says. She's at dance tonight, so I'll show it to her tomorrow. So just keep going round. I think it needs the seed beads in. It looks nicer with the seed bead in than without. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. But I think it looks nicer that way. There's another sort of shape we could make with this, which is have got one more. Sort of the corners a little bit softer. have a go at that one as well, because I think that would look good as well. So I'm just going all the way around, adding the seed beads in, and I think it just needs like a little seed bead bell, or we could just add just a closed ring at the top. That would look good too. I do like the seed beads, but I think still I would like to have it's for me, for my eyes, it's a little bit too squarish, if that makes any sense. But I'll show you one other way how we can create a sort of cube but have got a bit more beads in it. So we start another one. Just adding the seed beads to the top, and then we're going to do another version with more beads. So it's going to be a little bit thicker that way, but it's not going to be sort of too much squarish. The squares are going to be kind of like off-centered or turned to the side. I do like this, but I just think it's too squarish. Looks good so far. Jenny said thank you. Like these seeds, and Debbie saying as well. Right, okay. So I'm gonna start a new one, and it's gonna be very similar technique, but we're gonna make the fours differently a little bit. And I haven't done anything like that for quite some time, so I hope I remember how to do it. I think I will be fine. So threading my needle again. So I'm going to pick up 4, and this time, you know, like previously what we did, we added 4, then we added 3, then we added 4, then we added 2, 2 and 1 at the end. So what we're going to do now, we're not going to join the corners in the first row, we're going to join them in the second row. Let me just grab a few more crystals. So I'm going to start with the 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost put 5 on there. What about pentagon, hexagon with smaller crystals to keep dimension? Yeah, could do that as well. Let's just try this one, because this one you're going to have a bit more crossover like. I hope it will make sense just in a sec. So I got my base row here, so I sewn 4 together and I got a rogue thread. There we go. Let's go through one more, so I'm away from my tail. So I'm going to pick up 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through this right here. I'm just coming out of. Then I'm going to move along, and I'm going to pick up 3 again. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through the one I'm just coming out of. Pull this up, and then I'm going to turn it. Go through the next one. I'm going to pick up 3 again. Go through the same one I'm coming out of, and finally I'm going to turn it again. I'm going to go through this guy here. I'm going to pick up another 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come through that guy again. So we just created like sort of like a plus sign. So I want to go into any of the loops. It doesn't matter which one I'm going to go into. I'm going to go up, so I don't want to cross my thread straight over. We want to go around in circles. So I don't want to go in the last loop, so I don't want my thread to come looser. So I'm going to go into the next one. I'm going to come into the first bead on that loop, and then I'm going to pick up 2, and I'm going to sew this and this together. I think I got an extra bead. Maybe I should have started with 2s, not 3s. Because I want to keep the ratio of 4s. And then this will turn out 5. Hang on, I want them to sit just like that. Hang on, so if I'm folding this up, yes, I have that there and that there. Okay, let's go back. Actually, we can save it. I should have added 2 all the way around, not 3, but we can save it because we can fold it up. So if I fold this on itself, so they're gonna sit on top just like that, and then can you see, like, there will be a square of 4, a square of 4 there, and if I turn this, then we need to sew these 2. So I'm going to go down on that one on the other side, just so I can pull it together. Oh, come on, just put it tight. Come up in this one. If this works, then I'll talk you through it. And then give a bit more thread. Then we are back this side. Right, yes, it's gonna work. And up into here. And then from here, I see 2 and then 2, so we didn't need it to sew the first 4 together. So from here, I'm gonna go up into these beads. I'm gonna pick up 2, so we're getting 2 and 2, yeah. And I'm gonna go down on this side, then come back up into that one. Might have to show it to you with 2 colors. It's going to be the same size, but it's going to be, the crystals will sit differently in the weave. Picking up another 2, going down just here. So I'm still stitching together 4, and I'm going to add 2 and 2 in every single time as I go up. So there's no thread pass going in between, and then we can just like sort of have gaps in one way, and then we can put seed beads in other places. So I'm gonna change the color so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna pick up 2, and I'm gonna come down on this one, the crystal sitting in a different way than in the previous one we made, and I'm gonna go up into the one I was just coming out of. So I sewn these 4 together. Then I'm gonna turn. So if I turn it to the side, can you see we added these 2? I'm gonna have to add 2 onto that side. So I'm gonna weave my thread to that side. I'm gonna weave it up. I'm gonna pick up 2 of that color. I'm gonna come down. So this 4 is 4 again. So this side I'm adding 4 as well, and then I'm gonna go up into the first of the 2 I just added, just like that. So here, so if I put this one side by side, can you see that the crystals are sitting slightly differently there? So one of them, they're more on sort of an angle, and in the other one we have got them in sort of a square shape. I think this one is a softer shape for a pendant. That one is quite regimental. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. What about a pendant similar to the fleur with a nice gold chain? I think I would love that, but I think that would be a bit too much for her. She wants something like simple-ish, but not too simple. She wants the impossible. But I'm going to add a few more to this and then see, and just fill it up with some seed beads so we can see how does it look. So picking up 2. So I'm always sewing. Can you see like these 2 is sewn together, but I want to sew the ones which are not together. So I'm keep turning and working on alternate sides here. Going to the other side, sort of weaving up and down. They'll be saying my son isn't up for some jewelry for his suit for his prom in a couple of weeks. Oh well, I'm sure. I don't know if you remember, I made those like they on an air wire, but they can be very much as cufflinks. You know, the Captain America superhero sort of shield. Maybe he would be wearing something like that because Christopher used to wear it as a little badge. So I think that you could do something like that for him, and that would be different. Which is like not really jewelry, but it's just like still an accessory. He loved his one. And I think I made a Black Widow one as well. Afterwards. Because you can just clip it on. Right, okay, so I'm gonna stop here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that one, 3 of these ones. So where I want to add the beads in is here where I got the threads. So that's where I want to add something in. So I'm gonna go up that crystal, pick a seed, go, if I go across, I think I will run the risk of, and actually I need to sew those 4 together. If I go across, I run the risk of pulling it out of the shape. So I think I'm going to have to go through them twice. Let me just sew these bottom ones together to create that thread path there. So I'm going to add one here. Then I'm going to add one here. I'm going to add one at the bottom again. Add one here. And now I need to weave my thread up to the next row. So I'm going to go to the seed crystal. I'm going to come into this seed as well. And then go up 1 row. And then I'm going to picking up 1 to go here. Go down. I'm going to go through the seed so I can pull it right into the middle. Go up. Picking up another seed. Going down into the seed. Come on. I think I managed to put a little knot into this seed somehow. Up into the crystal, into that seed, and then making my way up to the next row. There we go. And then when I haven't got a seed bead, I add one, and I just keep going around. When I come across the seed bead in front of me, then I will go through that seed bead. So can you see that seed bead is sort of sitting towards the bottom? But once I go through that seed bead and the next crystal, and when I pull this up, I have got a little knot on my thread. Come on. Come on, knot. You've been behaving so well tonight. So when I pull this up, can you see that seed bead? It just sort of went into the middle. This thread was behaving all night, and now what's happening? Does she want something delicate? I think so, but then that's like, I said to her, like, do you want something, I think the chain, she wants it something really thin, but then you can't put a big pendant on a thin chain. So I think she wants something little, but not too little, but I don't know, we see. This is sort of the first draft. And then see how she reacts to this one, and then we're gonna start tweaking it by, maybe I make it up in pearls for her, because I could do this with 3 or 4 millimeter pearls as well. And there's actually more colors in pearls, so we could do like an ombre effect. That would look really good as well. Because I'm going back on my thread path as I'm adding the seed beads, this part is nice and solid, and this one is still quite a little bit sort of floppy. So by adding the seed beads, we are tightening up the thread paths as well, which is good. So again, can you see that seed bead is sort of sitting towards the bottom? I'm going to go through seed bead and the crystal. And when I pull this up, that seed bead just going to come into the middle. I like the seed beads in the center and the side, so it's going to sit differently. I think this version is a nicer version to do the same thing. It's exactly the same size in theory, but because the cross, sort of the fours are like on alternate sides. What did I just do? Did I miss a seed bead? No, I think I'm ready to go up. Alternate sides, it just kind of like sits a little bit better, but I'll show you just in a sec. When I get to the top, I'm going to put them side by side for you, and then you can see. Oh yeah, because I folded it. I'm thinking, what is my tail doing here? But my tail is there because we folded the first little bit, which actually is quite, it's a faster way to start it. Through the seed bead into the crystal, pick up a seed, next crystal, into the seed, up to the next row, into the seed, and going up to the next row. Now here the top is not stitched together because we folded the base, so I'm gonna have to stitch that together before I add the seed beads on there, because it's like still kind of, they can open up. Through that seed, and then I'm going up to the very top. So I'm just going to run around here to sew these together because they're not sewn together, and then we'll add the seed beads on there as well. There we go. So seed, then the crystal, I'm kind of sort of holding it towards me, and usually I stitch away from myself. Right, last seed. There we go, and through the seed, and then up to the end. So the difference between the two, let me just pop it down. So this one, you will have middle bits of seed beads, and if you turn it, you still have middle bits of seed beads. On this one, the seed beads are on the corner. I think I prefer this one. I prefer the sort of the cross effect rather than the cube effect. What do you think? Let me know in the chat, which one do you prefer more, the cross effect or the cube effect? And then, I know it's not the same color, but we could just have one little bead as the earring. So I think that would look really good. We did one when we stuck a little bead in it as well earlier. I think this has definitely got scope as well. I think that would make a nice little components. Maybe if we did it, we could did something like that, even on necklace, made quite a few of them, and then just sort of experimented with some other colors. But yeah, so what do we think? Right hand diamonds rather than boxes? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's more delicate and more elegant, and this one is more sort of like a structural geometric shape, and I like this one. And he's saying cross as well. And like this one, if it turns around, it doesn't really matter because there is no kind of like sides to it. And then I could just add like a little, because you got two seed beads at the top, like a little loop of seed beads from one side to another, and then she can put the chain through that, and I think that would be it, and that would be quite a quick make as well. For me, I can make that up to her quite quickly. Right, lovies, that is for me today. I need to actually take Roxy down for a quick run. We haven't been able to go for a walk today. She's just down here next to me, so I'm gonna just take her down to the seafront. I'm loving this light nights so much that like we can go for a walk now, and it's still nice and sunny outside, so I'm gonna pop down. It's cooler for her as well in the evening, so it's quite good to go in the evening with her. So I'm gonna pop down to the seafront with her. That's it for me today. I'll be back next week. I will be on totally on Fridays, not this Friday, that's next Friday. I'm mixing my weeks up now. I got like 2 weeks before I go to Hungary, and like I don't know what week is what week. No, this Friday is Natalie, next Friday is me when she's coming down. So everybody have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care, keep on beading, keep on crafting. Bye bye bye.